for now, how about game one of our leadoff best of three of the day? Team Tinker versus Empire begins right now. And moving on into things, we can see a little over halfway through the draft, going to be Empire grabbing up a Brewmaster, Zeus, and Rubik very early on. And as I was saying, does seem like a Bulba draft to me. He's picked up the Skywrath and Elder Titan in number 1 and number 2 position. 2 heroes. Even when Team Tinker as a team has underperformed, we have seen Bulba for the most part do really well on those 2 heroes himself. Then the Storm Spirit to go with it as well. And I know Zeus is one of your favorite heroes, man, and as is the Brew, so it should be a fun one for you.
Yeah, I think that was it was an interesting to see Zeus in the 2nd position, honestly, this early from Team Empire. So that's kind of fun. Although when you pick him up early, it can abuse the fact that he's just very susceptible in the mid lane, as are many popular mid laners. Like DP, for example, is very susceptible to death. Zeus is very susceptible to death. Honestly, even Storm Spirit, before he hits level 6, is very susceptible to easy ganks from heroes like Rubik +1. So it'll be interesting, kind of fun to see. Team Tinkerino, I know I love it, or I know you love it when I say that, by the way. Team Tinker.
Cool meme.
But they're going with the Elder Titan as what looks like an offlaner actually now, because they have Witch Doctor and Skywrath. I was going to say I love for Elder Titan, and just in general, I love Elder Titan. It was kind of nice. We got to have a little bit of break in casting, and I've played a lot of NEL since then. Yeah. And we saw some Elder Titan as a 4 and as a 3 as well as the offlaner from time to time. And I was like, oh yeah, it always seems quite good. It's a very good counter push. It's very difficult to push high ground against this hero. But until I actually played it a lot, I didn't really realize and respect how strong it is. Dude, it's so strong. It's so good. Yeah. And I feel like this hero is first pick material hands down. And so I'm excited to see Team Tinker pick that up. Of course, as you mentioned, Bulba, he loves that hero a lot. I'm interested to see if he plays it. And that's another issue, too. Not just leadership in game and leadership in draft, but they've shuffled around the roles more than any team I've seen.
Oh, for sure. And I think that, and you can ask your average fan, you can ask most commentators, they will identify that, I think, as the big problem that everyone seems to think Tinker needs to just figure out. And it's a two-edged sword. I mean, one thing that makes Tinker hard to anticipate in a lot of cases is you have, like the way I always kind of phrased it was, Tinker has a bunch of solo lane players, and it doesn't matter if it's solo mid, solo offlane, solo safe. They excel at that, and they can certainly swap up based on what your expectations are, who's going to be on what hero, but we just haven't seen them really get the other edge of that sword into play as much. We've seen it hurt them, and it does help them from time to time, but as of now, I totally agree. I think it's reaching a point in this team's development where, barring a roster shift or anything like that, which of course is always in play at this stage, still at the end of the year, teams aren't really beginning to settle down quite yet in preparation for TI5. So aside from that, just getting into a groove, finding roles, finding standard things that they can really begin to practice based on just saying, okay, our offlaner does this, our mid is this, our supports are this, and this is what we're going to do for the next 4 to 6 months in preparation for what's going to be the biggest tournament of our lives. Up until that point, I think they're going to continue to struggle. So the Ember Spirit rounds out the 5 for Tinker. So I actually really like Tinker's lineup. I feel like it's very well balanced. They have some mobility. They have good roam. They have fairly good late game. Empire, on the other hand, is with a blow-you-up kind of a team, and we've seen them run lineups like this fairly consistently. This is something they're good at, but it is something that if Tinker can just land a nice jab in the face, if they can just slow down the Zeus, slow down the Brew, maybe you gank the Legion a couple of times, this kind of lineup can really fall apart very, very quickly. Legion is a good catch-up kind of a hero, and it will be silent on the Legion commander, but still, I feel like Tinker's going to have plenty of opportunities early on to make this lineup work for them and abuse what is kind of a greedy lineup out of Empire, honestly.
Yeah, I like Team Tinker lineup just a little bit better. I think that the double Spirit is very strong, the Ember Spirit and the Storm Spirit. These heroes don't get as much play as I think they deserve to. I think they're very, very strong, especially Storm Spirit. I feel like this hero needs to be fitted a lot more. And not to mention they have the Elder Titan Spirit to just secure high ground defense if it comes down to that. They don't have like your quintessential right-clicking, agility hero hard carry. I mean, I guess Ember Spirit's kind of that, but it's not like you're like your PA or like your void or
Right.
something like that keeps someone into place and just bashes and bashes and bashes them or beats on them. But Elder Titan plus the Ember Spirit is a very common combo that we see from the Eastern scene a lot, and for good reason. It's very, very strong. So I do favor Team Tinker's lineup just a bit here to Empires.
Yeah, the issue I think Tinker's going to run into is if Empire gets ahead of, any at all, and they're able to start dictating the pace of the game. Whenever you have a dual global presence between Zeus and Ancient Apparition, then you have a Brew who can roam around either by himself or even just with a Rubik pick, for example, and pressure places and know that you're going to get help no matter where those other two heroes are on the map. They can dictate the pace of the game and basically just force Team Tinker to play so defensively that the Ember Spirit won't have room to operate. The Storm Spirit won't be getting the most out of his innate kit, which is basically range, reach, being able to make things happen when it's not expected. And I think that needs to be the game plan looking ahead, at least for the first 20 minutes for Empire. From there, though, and you brought this up, like Ember Spirit is kind of a, he's weird, he's different, just like most heroes in Dota are. He is a carry, but he doesn't feel like an ultra late game carry in the sense of like a PA that you brought up, for example. We see late game Embers, at least in D2L play. We have seen them struggle because once you begin to run out of that ganking power, once the other team starts to tank up and starts to be able to just kind of deal with the sleight of fist damage and so on, you can find yourself in a situation where your only option is to build crit and rapier, and suddenly the game becomes a coin flip no matter how well you've done to that point. Yeah. So that's something that that's always kind of a concern, but looks like there won't be any early action. Empire did invade, and we'll see if they're going to keep these three down here at bottom. They already have one ward down, and they're waiting right here in the pool camp, just hoping someone would drift over. Not going to be the case. EGM is kind of close by. He's going to be, he spotted him. That was a very cautious approach from him, and it saved his life for sure.
I think it's good heads up from Team Tinker, and perhaps it's Bulba, but I feel like they've anticipated this aggressive tri-lane from Team Empire, which is something that most teams wouldn't do. And so Arise is down here bottom. They're trying to dodge it and put Storm top, who will be farming. Arise, unfortunately, did miss the block pretty badly down here. That's going to be difficult for him because Dire already has a much easier time blocking, and the lane comes up a little bit more favorable to them. And it's going to be actually just a dual lane down here. Okay, I thought it was just going to be maybe if they can get some pulls, but nope, they don't have the pull camp. So I'm not sure how this dual lane is going to work out simply because they don't have the pulls working for them. EGM is going to be very, very careful. And then top lane, the question is, can they get the kill on the Legion Commander? I don't know that they can, actually. I think they need the Witch Doctor up there. I like the laning at first from Team Tinker, but I'm not so sure anymore.
No, I agree with you. I think they need to roam somewhere. Be it put unexpected pressure on mid, be it roam a third up here, roam the Witch Doctor up here or whatever. I mean, Arise isn't going to be too crippled by this. I mean, the Elder Titan isn't super farm dependent, and EGM can stay out of the way, pre-rune and stuff, give him some room for solo lane, etc. And it is going to be kind of tough to make a kill happen, at least at these early stages. But we can already see at top, Always Want to Fly has rotated forward, so he is going to be up at top getting the pull on. And with the adjustment now, I feel like Team Tinker needs to, it's so hard to be like, well, you should just get a kill in the first 5 minutes. Well, yeah, that's kind of the idea. But even beyond that, there need to be pressuring somewhere, because I think these lanes are going to end up a wash, and I actually think that's going to end up being a fairly big win for Empire, given that Silent's going to be able to freeform this brew.
Well, it shows you how confident they are in this off lane with just a dual lane, because they're like, we don't even need our third hero here that we anticipated doing a tri-lane versus tri-lane, and they just throw him top. So they're just going to get good farm bottom, they're going to secure pulls and good farm for their AA and their Legion Commander top. They're just going to farm more in the laning stages than Team Tinker. And you can already see Zeus doing quite well at 10 and 1. Pause coming out. But to add on to to build onto your point, which you said earlier too, is like you're totally right. The AA versus Zeus combo, I forgot about this, is so damn strong. In fact, I just played this combo last night in an NEL game, and if you could get the Ags up or some decent farm up onto your Ancient Apparition, you don't even need that much farm honestly on the Zeus. It's just basically the levels on the Ancient Apparition, and it's very easy to coordinate team fights.
Oh, yeah, and it just gives you the flexibility, and I especially like the way it works with a Brewmaster who, so long as his ulti's up, he can just be a wrecking ball on his own. And if you know you're going to have damage support, you know you're going to have follow-up, from the Zeus and the Ancient Apparition. Suddenly you can play ballsy. Now your Legion commander has room to farm, or maybe she just goes a blink very early on, which is usually the case, and just begins to roam around, and they go as 3, and and that's a very aggressive CIS Empire style of play, and it's something that I expect to see. And the Legion's a deceptively, at least in my mind, deceptively good pick against the Ember Spirit as well, having a guaranteed way to keep him on the ground and immobile for a little while, especially in the early and mid-game phases before he really begins to, gets up a second Battle Fury, a crit stick or whatever, before his pure right-click really becomes that scary. Just being able to lock him down with the burst potential that you have already on this team, he's going to give you an opportunity to kill both him and the Storm Spirit as well, 2 notorious heroes to knock down. It is worth mentioning, though, that in terms of stuns, they do have the duel, and that's nice, and they do have a lift from Rubik, which is handy-dandy, but they're going to be very reliant on a good performance from Silent to manage these fights with his split and the rock, as well as the storm aspect, being able to lift a hero. He has to play well, otherwise the pure mobility advantage of Team Tinker, I think, will begin to show itself.
Whew, game of pauses. Just
no joke.
Constantly, but lots of disconnects here coming out from Resolution, it seems. So, but yeah, if they have a good game here from Empire, they have many ways to kill this Storm. But if they don't have a good game, it's going to be hard for the supports to be mobile. If they don't get a fast Blink Dagger on Legion Commander, it's going to be hard to keep that Storm and Ember in place. I agree with those aspects. So it's going to come down to timings here for Empire. Timings on the Blink for Legion Commander, timings on the Blink for the Panda, and then looking to fight, especially when the AA gets 6 too. So timings will be more important here for Empire than Team Tinker. Team Tinker, they just want to farm. I think that they're totally fine taking this late with the Ember and the Storm. Those heroes are fantastic in the late game, especially with an Elder team on your side. And so those are the 2 game plans here for each team.
I'm a little surprised we've seen no effort to try to de-ward this Observer Ward that's blocking this camp here. I don't know. I mean, it's just a couple of minutes in, and these are 2 heroes that don't really need a lot of farm. Elder Titan's already level 2.5 roughly. Witch Doctor's still looking for level 2, but now that it's especially a dual lane, and that's what they're showing you as a dual lane, they have to know by now that Always Want to Fly. I'm not sure if they visually spotted him, but they have to suspect that he's no longer here. This could be a lane where they could finally get something out of it. And let's see, does this, the courier has nothing on it. So you think that, early pickup of sentries would be worthwhile. I mean, right now, EGM is not exactly rich, but, just being able to get creep equilibrium back in their favor here, I think would be very beneficial, because this is a dual lane where they should be at least breaking even, I think.
Yeah, no, I agree. It definitely would be helpful. I don't think he is going to, though, because he already bought a TP scroll, and Resolution's having lots of problems. But he already bought a TP scroll, and that kind of indicates to me that they're just going to forgo the whole polling situation, although it would be helpful. And then when you're up against a pseudo tri-lane or like some kind of weird dual lane, you don't even have to worry about necessarily getting the creeps onto your side. It's more of just like disrupting the lane and getting farm whenever you can. So even if it's just a single pull, not connecting it or anything like that, it's still fine and very beneficial. But hopefully he's able to fix his internet, although it seems like he's having substantial problems.
Yeah, and this is always the unfortunate part of online qualifiers, is sometimes you run into these issues, and certainly don't want to see Empire at a disadvantage because of this. And God forbid, maybe he can't play, and we would have to figure things out administratively, but hopefully we'll be able to keep things rolling, and hopefully everything will sort itself out for him. For those that are tuned in right now, again, just want to remind you that we are going to be giving away a lot of stuff courtesy of Dota 2 Lounge, and he has reconnected. But the important thing you need to know is after this game and after the last game of this series, as well as the next series, that'll be the first and last game of that, the winner playing Snaw, myself, Trouf, and our D2L Twitter will all be tweeting out 10 codes that you can redeem at Dota2Lounge.com. If you're the first to redeem the code, you get 2 chests, 2 very awesome ones. It's the Hero's Heirloom and something. It's like the ones. It's all the items that were available to buy at the secret shop at TI4. So pretty legit stuff. And make sure you follow myself at AC at AYESEE. Make sure you follow Trouf at TRALFDOTA, Trouf Dota, and at D2LGG. And again, that's going to be after the first and last game of every one of these series here today. Well, both, I guess. As well as I'll be reading 10 verbally at the end of the game, too. So for those who don't participate in social media, if you're listening in, make sure that you listen closely, have pen and paper ready, and write those down. Looks like we are back underway, and hopefully that'll be the last pause we happen to have.
Yep, Resolution bottles up a DD, which is not exactly a great room for Zeus because he's got probably the worst attack animation in the entire game, but nonetheless it's good for him just to be able to regen some more. And Bulba is actually smoked up all by himself, looking for a kill onto Resolution. Ember Spear did pop the Flame Guard though, and he doesn't have his Sleight of Fist, so he can't like close the gap here. So it might be a waste of smoke. He's gonna walk his way back towards top, but Koikva has no pull, so yeah, kind of a little bit of waste of time here, unfortunately, here from Bulba.
Yep, Bulba just now hitting level 2. And are they going to try to dive this? I think they are. Yeah, they recognize Koikva's by himself, at least right now. Bulba hanging out right in the woods, going to go for it. There's going to be the jump onto Always Want to Fly. And, yep, not going to be able to follow it. Thought Bulba might be able to catch them in the middle of the dive, as Koikva was by himself. And thought they might have tried to make something happen, but not going to be the case. At bottom, we do have some action, though. EGM trying to heal through this, and there's going to be the Echo Stomp. And that caught Silent and bought just enough time for EGM to make it away. So Arise going with the 1-1 build very early on, and we'll see how he wants to treat Natural Order after this. But that early value point in Echo Stomp, man, for the longest time, no one took it. Now we're beginning to see why everyone values it.
It's really, really good. And it is a value point, man. Like nothing else. The stomp damage goes up by 10 each level. So leveling it up for damage is... you don't do that at all. It's
right.
Negligible. The sleep duration does go up by a second for each level, but it starts off at 2. So it goes from 0 to 2 and then increments of 1 after that. So it's it's a value point if you've ever heard of one. It's very, very good. And the mana cost, of course, does go... nope, it stays static, actually, at 100. So, yeah, very, very good for them. But this is what I'm talking about. The laning phase will be won here by Empire. They have a lot better farmers here. 21, 21, and 18, 19 CS now for the 3 cores, where it's 21, 20, and then 9 for the cores of Team Tinker. But that's to be expected with the way the lane's set up. I still favor Team Tinker in the late stages of the game. They just have to get there and not fumble around the timings of Team Empire.
Exactly. And this is kind of panning out the way we expected it to. I mean, in mid, it's fairly close. I mean, 23 to 25, 23 to 21 in terms of the brew and the storm, but where it's really a big jump up is the comparison of the Legion Commander and the Elder Titan. Legion sitting at 20 CS and Elder Titan just at 11. A lot of that has to do, again, with this war that has just kept this pool camp from being utilized, and Team Tinker has not been able to come too far forward when the creeps have been largely sitting in the area they are right now. This is going to mean a quick blink for Silent, and most likely, I mean, he's already got his treads up, and most likely a very quick blink for Yoki as well. His treads are either on the way to him or they're about to be done. Looks like he's going to wait a bit, but yeah, should have treads up shortly as well.
Oh, here comes a go on EGM, actually.
Yep, clap to follow, and trying to heal through it. Doesn't matter, first blood as Resolution shows off the fireworks using the Thunder Guard's Wrath. Out of mid, 1-0, Empire leads.
That was very easy kill too. Like, it wasn't really too strenuous. They did expend a Zeus ultimate out of it, but that's really good for him. I think he got the kill too. Yeah, he did. So
he did.
Resolution is going to be very, very happy about that one.
Well, as you always bring up, getting a global kill like that is so much more valuable early on, just because it's bonus experience in gold.
Yes. Yeah, it's really, really good. Like for your Invoker players who have Sunstrike and get the actual kill. Not just helping out and assisting with it, but actually getting the kill is so much more beneficial than just assisting with it beforehand. But, I mean, it's still obviously helpful, but... Yep, so down here bottom, Silent's going to be very, very happy with that. He's going to have his Blink Dagger... around the 11 minute mark. He went for the treads here first, and actually TP coming in from Zeus. They want to be more aggressive, and with the split coming up soon, actually don't have it yet, but he still has a ton of damage output here from the Zeus without his ultimate.
This is actually brilliant timing, and they're not going to expect this. They're going to assume Resolution wouldn't want to try to do anything without his ultimate available. Still 15 seconds off. Aloha standing in, gets the lift. Arise is dead. Clap to follow. One right click and Resolution makes it 2-0 and 2-0 on him personally on the day. And again, that is just such good timing for him because, you know, it's not as if pro players, wow, he just got a double kill. And yeah, where did he? Yeah, he killed the Zeus. I didn't even see how low he was, but using the ult, now he's 3-0. And this is where Zeus is terrifying. Like, we've seen that if you hold him down, he's not as scary, but he still has good damage. He's not being held down at all. He is way ahead. And now in mid, always want to fly. Finally, Team Tinker finds their way onto the board, make it 1-3, as Sing Sing gets it done under the tier 1 mid.
Yeah, thank God for them that they got that, because he already just TP'd bottom and then ran away right afterwards. So it was a very wasted TP and unfortunately some wasted time. So they desperately needed that, as they're falling quite far behind in laning phase. And that's not even the bad thing for them, is that Empire hasn't even really hit their window. Like, they don't have their blink yet from Legion Commander. They don't have their blink from Panda, and that's when it's going to get really scary and really hard here for Team Tinker. So they need to stop the bleeding, and they especially need to be worrisome with that.
Lift onto a rise. Look at the damage.
Yep.
Had no chance to do anything, and the cask being kited out effectively. And Team Tinker is just absolutely hemorrhaging, bleeding nothing. They're hemorrhaging, but Sing Sing actually survives a duel. He's going to throw his remnant to the high ground. He's still very low. Yoki follows and gets a kill there as well. And now here comes Koikva trying to make something happen. Sing Sing back in off the buyback. He needs to get a kill on the Yoki, but will not be able to do so as the haste rune will get him to safety. So he buys back and gets a support kill on the Ancient Apparition. I mean, buying back early is usually worth it. What do you think? You think it was worth it that time? Yeah?
Well, yeah, buying back early on, the gold is just so negligible. Actually, here comes the split here onto a Rise, who doesn't have that much HP. Here's the heal coming out from EGM. He gets thrown up in the air. I think the Rise might be... Nope, there's the Zeus ulti, and that will secure it.
And EGM likely in some trouble here as well. Gets caught by the rock from behind. Nope, never mind. Oh, he got him with a clap through the woods. Will he dive it? A ulti's on the way. Not going to matter as he just right-clicks him down. He did get silenced. Yeah, that's much better. By Bulba.
Yeah,
silenced, yes. Oh, good. Another pause. So the action fast and furious here in game 1, and it looks like we are going to be immediately back underway. I lied to you. I'm sorry. I make mistakes just like everyone. 7-3, 10 kills in a 9-minute game after a very quiet early laning phase. Things get busy in a hurry. And Empire certainly off to a pretty decent start here, to put it mildly. And yeah, how about 5,000 gold to their advantage overall, and just about 3,000 experience as well.
Wow, that's really good. And Resolution, as you mentioned, has got a lot of gold from that and a lot of experience from these solo kills. The other one on the Storm, I didn't even see what happened. He just, I think, got too low from spam from the Legion Commander or something, and was walking back to base and pinged it out and ulted, and the rest is history. So, but yeah, as I mentioned, the bad things haven't even happened yet. Like, Empire doesn't even have the blink yet on the Brewmaster, and they're still just not able to stop the bleeding in these fights. But yeah, the Ember buyback, obviously he would have loved to get that Legion Commander kill, but she had haste, and I still think it was fine, as you were mentioning. Like, the buyback gold cost is very, very low, and it's not like it's not like, oh crap, it's on cooldown now, I don't have it for the base defense. Like, you don't have to worry about that early on. So I think it was fine.
Well, for now, still waiting on what we hope will be a very quick reconnect. But yeah, I mean, I'm running through my head what they can do, like you said, and it's not even as if it's like, oh, it's bad enough that this is all happening with the Brew and the Legion both lacking blinks, but they actually went fairly greedy builds. I mean, Yoki's got a bottle, treads, and an orb of venom, and the Brew has basically, I mean, he's got a bottle, a magic stick, and his treads as well. So it's not as if it's like, oh, well, you know, they're losing ground, but it's because these key items aren't out. Once the blink comes out, these heroes are going to be so unbelievably ready to fight that I'm not sure what Tinker can do. I mean, you take a look at Sing Sing's farm. It's not terrible. He's sitting at 40 CS, so right in the middle of the pack. And Koikva certainly did well in the laning phase as well, as he's sitting at 39 right behind it. But it's just like we talked about, the global presence, the ability for Empire to take one out of position hero, kill them quickly, and then begin to force a tower fight. I don't even know how you fight into that if Empire has a man advantage and has Ancient Apparition ult up, the Brewmaster ult up, and the Zeus ult up. Like, I have no idea how you defend this 5 if you're Tinker.
Yeah, it's hard. Like, Ancient Apparition and the Rubik hitting 6 too is very important. These two supports are essentially 4 levels higher in combination than the supports of Team Tinker, which is really bad when it's a hero like, as you mentioned, Ancient Apparition, who can just stifle team fights for Team Tinker if that ultimate hits from the get-go. Especially with a Zeus ult up. Like, it's an amazing combo. And then Rubik is another hero that we don't see as much as some of the more popular supports like Venge and Skywrath right now, but this hero can pack a punch with some good spell steals early on. Like, there's so many good spells, and it's one of those things that you just forget about in the back of your head because you just don't expect it in most games. Like, oh, yeah, you know that he can steal spells, of course, but it's not one of those things that you actively think about, and it can be a huge team. It can be a huge turn in team fights.
Well, still waiting, and this is unfortunately beginning to reach a point where I don't know. We do have rules regarding pause duration, number of pauses, and everything else, but with so much on the line, it's really difficult. I don't know. I'm not an admin. We do get to weigh in on some decisions, but for the most part, I just really hope that Resolution makes it back and we can proceed with this series. And in the meantime, I guess we can remind you once again that our grand finals are coming up that first week of January. It'll be taking place in Las Vegas, Nevada at Caesars Palace during CES 2015. And would love it if every one of you would join us. I know there have been a lot of people. It's been really fun this year. Last year, it's always coming. Yeah, he's coming back. Good. But, last year it was a new thing, working with HyperX and doing it there. And this year, it should be a lot more open and should be a lot more accessible to a lot of people who would want to join us. And I know I've been getting PMs and tweets from people who are saying, hey, I'm planning to go. So if you happen to live in the area or you're just looking to take a trip, there are many worse cities to take a winter trip to than Las Vegas. So really hope many of you that are listening right now will join us in Las Vegas again for our 2-day grand finals featuring LVEG, CDAC, and the winner of our Western playoffs as well. And yeah, at this point, I really hope Resolution can get in the game and stay in the game, because it's beginning to run afoul of our rules a bit regarding pause duration and pause frequency.
Yeah, and obviously it's not like he's, doing this on purpose. He's having some connection errors and issues, so it's very frustrating in that regard too. But yeah, aside from the pause thing, or his disconnecting, I would say Empire's doing fantastically this game, and I would hope to see it be played on.
Well, I think we've broken down about all you can in 9 minutes into the game, our concerns and everything else. Hope everyone's having a wonderful holiday season, obviously. And after D2L, I'll be on the road a little bit, be heading back home for about 10 days. You got plans for the holidays here, my friend?
Gonna visit the girlfriend's family here for Christmas.
Okay.
And then, yeah, but looks like he's here actually, so hopefully he's able to stabilize. But
yep, looks like they're gonna jump in Skype, and hopefully again this will be last time we have to worry about it. But yeah, we should be coming back on sometime soon. Now let's talk a little bit about Koikva and the way that the two spirits are going to end up functioning together, the Storm Spirit and the Ember Spirit. Two very hard to track down heroes, but two heroes that usually, in the case of the Ember Spirit, just rely on Flame Guard to keep himself safe, which will be very effective against predominantly magic damage coming out of Empire for the most part. So that's at least something going for them. But I feel like Koikva really is going to have to overperform this game to get them back to even. He needs to get farmed. He needs to get up items. He needs an Orchid. He needs a BKB. And then he needs to just go ham. If they don't get that out of him, and it's sad that, it's hard to put that on somebody's shoulders, but I think they just need him to have a really, really good game from here on out, because he's really one of the few heroes that, while Sing Sing is farming and trying to get his own damage up, has a chance to at least counterpunch against Empire. And right now, they need that desperately.
They really do, but he's just got such a slow start. I don't know how effective he can be against the team fight early on here from Team Empire. And it looks like they want to do something now, though, because here comes the smoke coming out from Bulba and Storm. They're both smoked up, and they both TP'd mid. They can Oh no, Legion Commander is actually picking up the regen rune and then walking top, so that's not going to be a kill. Maybe they can get a kill on the resolution. Yeah, this should be a kill actually.
And resolution seems like he suspects there's going to be the jump and the grab. AA ulti on the way, and that will catch Sing Sing. There's a reaction from Aloha, who does manage to catch him, and AA's there. If they get the... Yeah, that is so not worth it for them at all. Giving up Sing Sing in exchange for the Zeus, not even close to being worth it for them. So a gank that looked like it should have been successful, and they just overextend a little bit and end up coming out on the bad end of things.
Well, and the fact that Empire responding with their supports to get a kill, whereas Team Tinker are initiating the fights with a core, I think it's the biggest issue. It's not so much like mid player for mid player or mid hero, but the fact that Koikva's not farming at all during this and is wasting his time trying to get not the biggest kill in the world. So it's not like a double kill for him or something like that. And yeah, so he's going to have continue to have a very slow start here. And honestly, at this point, I don't even know if you rush an Orchids. Like, I've seen a lot of times Storm Spirits, they're having a very slow start. You just go for something like a Bloodstone and just try to farm up and have a higher base mana pool. Although Orchids does seem like the quintessential item for not only Storm in general, but this game against a Panda. But we'll have to see how slow his start here continues to be.
Yep, Silent has his Blink Dagger done as soon as he wants to buy it. He could sell a magic stick and pick it up right now if he felt like it, and yep, that's exactly what he'll do. And the Legion Commander is about 300 gold off of hers, so things are going to go from bad to worse for Team Tinker very quickly. If you're in the captain's chair, if you're in Bulba's shoes right now, Trout, like, what's the game plan from now until, say, 25 minutes? Like, what is the general, what do you want to accomplish, and what do you want to keep Empire from accomplishing?
Well, I would say the supports need to get more active here. And I would say, yeah, aggressive smokes, trying small pickoffs and backing off immediately. Oh, Sing Sing actually missed his Sleight of Fist. But there's the actually ult into Bolus combo, so he does get that. And it's kills like that right there. And then go heal up. Make sure you're not getting caught off guard with, like, okay, we get this kill and then Panda gets a kill elsewhere. It needs to be one kill, back off, rinse, repeat when the cooldowns are up again.
That time, that particular kill, I think, was just Aloha being a little too aggressive. I mean, he spotted Bulba. Bulba got there, denied the double damage rune, and he decided to go for a lift and do some damage, but probably should have assumed that there's going to be at least some help. Arise has been under siege down here in bottom, by the way, and yep, Silent, gonna split. He's trapped. Easiest kill of his life. Maybe a waste of an ult, but really I don't think so, as they're now going to be able to press that bottom tower. It looks like they're showing two in mid, EGM and Sing Sing, who want to try to run in this mid lane. And this bottom tower, still at about 3/4 health, will take some time to whittle down, but I think Tinker right now is just scared to come to fights for the reasons we've been outlining. It just, with all the ults up, and yep, there's a lift on the Koi, but they have, look at that. The amount of burst they have is enough to kill a Storm Spirit who is fairly well farmed on just one lift from Rubik. Like, that is ridiculous.
Ult coming mid as well, or maybe all the way top, actually. Yeah, they suspect Bulba was there. Bulba backs up. Can't really do too much anyway, but his ulti is up. So yeah, I don't know. The laning stage just went so well for Empire, as we expected it to, but honestly, I didn't expect it to go that well. I don't know why Witch Doctor was bottom. I really don't. Yeah. I think that even if Elder Titan was going to have a harder time without the Witch Doctor, I actually don't think he would have. I think he actually would have had an easier time without the Witch Doctor, because he would have gotten solo levels and he wouldn't have played up as much as he did, just because he wouldn't have expected that helper and have that mental safeguard with the support hero behind him.
Well, they do manage to get the deny on the tier 1 bottoms, so little victories, I suppose. Taking a look at the net worth chart, top 3 all belong to Empire. Granted, it isn't by the largest margin, but unless think up, this is going to be a nice kill for them, as Aloha drops once again. But the kills they're getting are basically on the nothing but supports. Now we're going to see Arise once again in trouble. There's a duel, so Yoki's going to grab 10 damage out of that as well. And yeah, it just seems like Tinker is trading where they can. Obviously not trading as well, as they're being nearly doubled up in kills by Empire, 11-6 now. But even their trades aren't very productive. They're killing supports and losing, their offlaner. They're losing a hero that, while he doesn't need everything, he doesn't need a ton of farm and a ton of experience. Really, he needs something. He needs something to be working for him, and we're just not seeing it. And it looks like another disconnect, and hopefully we'll figure out what's going to be the resolution for resolution as he's trying to fix his internet as we speak. And this would be a shame if he's unable to stabilize things given how well Empire is playing here in Game 1.
Yeah, Arise is having a terrible game. He's just playing way too far up and not respecting the damage output, and like they don't have, like, you look at this lineup and like, oh, they don't have that good of catch potential between their heroes. It's basically just the Rubik, but they're getting it even without him, unfortunately. What does he say? Hostile has been over 10 minutes. I can only have 2 more minutes, then we have to resume. Okay, that's unfortunate,
Yep.
but I mean, it's understandable. I mean, I would be very frustrated if not only Empire, of course they're frustrated, but Team Tinker, especially when they're getting kind of pounded here and having to pause after every single exchange that's unfavorable to them.
Oh, yeah. And, you know, one of the weirdest situations, and this goes way back, I'm talking 2 years or more now, I want to say it was actually Evil Geniuses. I'm almost positive it was them. They had a player disconnect, and it was their carry. I want to say it was Fear, maybe? Like, I'm trying to think who was playing it. EG was in that game. I can't remember who it was, but the long and the short of it is that they had a player disconnect, and they opted to continue to play 4 versus 5, and they continued to farm the anti-mage, which was the one that disconnected. Like, they just had one of the support players playing farm, and they played defensively, and eventually, literally 20, 30 minutes later, that player came back and they won. So, one of the more entertaining things I've casted in my casting career, but certainly not fun for Empire right now, as once again, they are playing excellently, and they may, our good admin, Gianni, tough but fair, informing them of what our rules are, and we'll see how Empire wants to proceed. Some teams will play 4 versus 5 and just micro. Go ahead.
I think they can. I think if there's a hero to do it, it's Zeus, honestly.
Right.
Like, this is a hero that doesn't necessarily need farm, just needs levels, and you can just you can theoretically just put him in the base and press R every 90 seconds, I think it is. Yeah, 90 seconds. And then if he comes back every once in a while to buy an item, you're Gucci. You're good to go. So it's not that bad, honestly. He's already got a 4-staff up to him. If he can buy like a point booster on his way to an Ags and just help his mana and HP pool a little bit, then you're golden. I think it's actually not too bad, honestly.
That's been a really good game for Resolution as well. 4-1-4 for him. And in fairness, Sing Sing always does this. I swear, like, it seems like whenever he's playing a core anyway, I'll be like, yeah, Sing Sing's done well this game. Then I look and he's 4-2-1. And, it's normally I'd be like, yeah, he's probably got a kill or two and, et cetera. But has died a couple of times, but has also been a big contributor, has accounted for 2/3 of his team's kills. So certainly nice early game for him. But after that, it's all Empire. 3-0 on the Brew, 2-0 on the Legion Commander, and even the Rubik's got one under his belt as well. And poor Arise, as you mentioned, has really been struggling. He's not on the map right now as he is dead. But 0-5-0 for him, so rough going. In fact, Bulba hasn't died, but his impact on the Storm, or excuse me, on the Skywrath has been a little muted. A 0-0-3 for him.
Yeah, he had that one failed smoke gank early on in the game. I don't think it was necessarily his fault. I think it was small communication issues from him and the Ember Spirit, because right when he ready up, as we're probably going to be approaching the game here now, as they say, sec, but he's been gone for quite some time. I always want to fly. Can we load with another player, they're asking? To wait and see.
Not my decision.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, back to the Ember thing. The communication was off just a little bit. When he was coming in for the smoke gank, the Ember Spirit was already pushing up the lane, and so Zeus is already in a defensive position. And actually, Resolution comes back. But I suspect this won't be the last time he reconnects. I think we'll have to see if he can stabilize his internet.
One can hope. It's you hate to see it. You just hate to see it, man. Especially a game in which they're doing so well. But anyway, we are back underway, at least for the moment. And if you're just tuning in, this is game number 1 of our leadoff best of 3, round 1 of our Bubble Race Western Playoffs. Winner of this advances to play Sna, who actually performed quite well in the regular season of D2L, earned themselves a number 3 seed. And they await the winner of this, and then the winner of that match tomorrow will be playing a best-of-5 against VP Polar for the chance to join CDEC, LV, and EG in Sin City. 4-man smoke coming out of Empire. They're going to walk right near a sentry, but unfortunately for Koikva, no other vision there, and that's going to be his 3rd death of the game now. So Empire just continuing to make it work for them. Resolution expended his ulti just to guarantee the kill, but really they didn't even need it. And Koikva, as we were talking about, really is he's the one who has to try to counterpunch, and with him dying twice now in, what, 3-4 minutes, looking less and less likely he's going to have any chance to get his gloves up.
They killed him so fast, Yoki wound up for the ultimate and couldn't even get the dual damage. That's how fast he's dying here. And yeah, I don't know what impacts, like, especially when they start pushing your buildings too. Like, Storm is a terrible counter pusher. He has nothing to do with that. The only thing he can do is if he's strong enough to come in around from the back and get a solo pick off, and then maybe zip around after that and just evade the fight that way. But he doesn't have the farm to do that, or the mana pool to sustain his running around that liberally. So he's gonna have, like, yeah, Elder Titan's 0-5 and 0, and it's a terrible score for him. But honestly, the Storm Spirit being this far behind is even worse for him. Does have his first Oblivion Staff, so it is going to be the Orchid's Rush. Not really a rush here, but he's going to try for it. As a blink comes out quickly from Yoki right before the Elder Spirit hits him. Or the Spirit, what's it actually called? The Astral Spirit.
Ancestral Spirit.
Yeah. So, yeah, nice job from Yoki there.
Dire's top tower is under
we can see Empire recognizing their position, knowing they should just keep the pressure up, and they're going to. They are running literally between Tier 1 and Tier 2 now, just trying to funnel Team Tinker all together. And Koikva is getting some room to breathe down at bottom, like you said, with the Oblivion Staff, so he will be wanting an Orchid. I was halfway wondering if he would want a BKB before Orchid, even if he wanted to go with the standard build, if he just wanted to flip the items and play a bit more defensive, but I think they need the kill potential out of him. They need someone who's going to be able to get something done. And for now, it's just on Empire to continue to build on the lead they already have, which, you know, while considerable, is not continuing to grow. It's right about 5K, and the experience has actually been cut down in favor of Team Tinkers. So even though they are in danger of losing momentum in a big way, at the moment, they're at least holding serve.
Yeah, Empire is running around a little bit clumped up. And so as a result, Team Tinker's kind of slowly trickling back in with experience, and they're getting some good farm when they're not dying, I'll say that. Like Koikva, he's up almost to his 2nd Oblivion Staff, and it's looking like a 20-minute Orchids, which is actually not too bad considering he's died 3 times and only has 1 kill. So that's not too bad for him. He's going to pick up a rune here on the bottom side. It's only a bounty. Rune top is actually an invis bottled up by Yoki. He activates it right away. And a pause again from Empire, as I suspect Zeus is gone, but we'll have to see what Gianni says, because we need load. He can't play. All right.
Yeah, we'll let our awesome admin G make the call on how we're going to proceed. I haven't actually loaded a save in a long time, like literally a year or more. And I hope it functions. I remember it used to have its issues.
The fun part is usually when you come back in, this kill score will be like 35 to 26 or something completely different.
I remember back in the day, like, I want to say the last time I loaded a save was D2L season 3 or 4, like maybe even 3. And I remember there were all kinds of weird bugs, in particular with the Ancients. I remember once I load in and the Ancients were just like hanging out right here. Well, I'm pinging it now. But like they were just standing in the river and just hung out and attacked people whenever they walked by. And let's see, what was the other one? Lone Druid. Like there was some issue with Lone Druid. Like you couldn't resummon the bear correctly or something bizarre like that. But yeah. He says, we will find. This is not my call to make, so hopefully Gianni will figure this out and pass along his judgment. Again, tough but fair. He's a good man, but thorough. But yeah, it's frustrating. It's frustrating for the viewers. It's got to be frustrating for the players and frustrating for us as well. I just want to watch Dota, man.
Yep, I think we all do. But it sucks because, as you mentioned, Resolution's been playing very well. Empire as a whole has been playing very well, and wait and see on what Gianni says here about this. But there's still tons of ways for Team Tinker to get back in this. I know we're making it seem kind of grim and dismal here for Team Tinker, which it is dismal. Like, things are not going well for them, but they have very strong high ground defense despite the Elder Titan being 0-5-0.
Yeah.
Like that Astral Spirit with the damage output from Sing Sing on the Ember Spirit's very strong. They have many ways to come back into this. It's all a matter of evading the blink initiations here from Legion Commander and Panda. If they can do so, then they can probably take these fights once they get their core items up.
It looks like the managers are hashing it out. So, yeah, like you said, I mean, Tinker does have good high ground. The problem, what worries me about them is the strength, the inherent strength of their lineup, in large part with the two spirits, is in moving around the map and making things happen. And Empire is giving them a window of opportunity where they still have a chance to do that. But we haven't really seen Empire put all the pieces together. And like at this point with the blink up, and I mean, there's going to be a blade mail up basically right now on Yoki. That plus a Vlad's, which I'm pretty sure is done. I think it's on the courier for Empire. And yeah, Vlad's is done. Coming out to Silent. I don't know why they don't just run at towers. Like at that point, just group as 5, let the Zeus sit off and, and farm or push another lane or whatever, and then just run at a tower and see what happens. Because right now, neither the Ember nor the Storm are really in a position to come to a fight like that. I mean, the Orchid is getting close to done, but now would seem to be the time to me when they have to recognize that they just have a huge fight advantage.
Yeah, absolutely. And the Ancient Apparition is going to go for a Midas, actually. And his skill build is a little bit of a smorgasbord here. It's Ice Vortex level 3, Cold Feet level 2, Chilling Touch level 2. So he's not really maxing anything out despite being level 8. But I find that when I play this hero a lot, I kind of do this sort of thing too, where it's like, never really seems appropriate to fully max something. You're like, oh, it depends actually at what part of the game you're in. Like, at this stage of the game, oh, I think I need a little bit more Ice Vortex. Ooh, this guy's about to get stunned here. Let me level up my Cold Feet a little bit more. It's things like that.
Well, I mean, the Ice Vortex, okay, we are resuming. We are not loading with another player. That just makes no sense. Okay.
I kind of agree with this decision, actually.
Yeah?
Yeah, I really do. I don't like loading in just with a new player and, like, for teams being able to swap in whenever they want on a whim. But that's just my personal opinion.
Yeah, I mean, it comes down to reading the fine print of the rules. And like I said, we weigh in on it sometimes, but ultimately, Gianni, our lead admin, makes these decisions based on what is relayed to the teams prior to play beginning in D2L, the rule set they agreed to, and so on. And if nothing else, I guess they bought time for resolution to come back. And if I'm Empire, I want to end this game quick. Well, like for more reasons than one.
Yeah, for the biggest reason is that you might not have resolution for much longer.
Exactly.
But like I said, though, if this is the ruling, which it might be, I think I agree with it. But if it is, what better hero to have them disconnect than the Zeus, right? So,
exactly.
Like if it was the Panda, I would be kind of scared and worried, or the Legion Commander. But the Zeus, even the supports, like you don't want to run around and micro a support that has to gank all the time. It's like you have to worry that much if you're Resolution or if you're playing the Zeus. It's just push R and win the game.
Well, with Resolution back, hopefully we'll be resuming. Go now, says G. And go Dota. We actually do get to play, or watch, in our case, some Doto. And let's see how Empire wants to continue to execute. Arise, level 8. Just now has 1 point into his natural order. So, yep, hang on. That's a duel. And that's a 1 duel. As EGM's free 10 damage and food to Yoki. And he gave up Cask as well. So good steal from Aloha.
That's a really good steal. That's one of the better steals or spells to steal. It's level 4, too, so it has it fully maxed, which is very, very nice for him. Blade Mail was completed by the Legion Commander 2. He's up to 24 damage. And that's only, I believe that was with the level 1 duel. It could have been level 2. Actually, no, it had to be level 2 because 10 plus 14 would be 24. All right, action bottom. Koikfa wasting through a little bit of mana. And actually, Silent, he does get the hit onto him. Koikfa's going to zip and TP away, though, so he'll be fine for the time being. Has enough almost for a second Oblivion Staff, but it is going to be a very late Orchids.
And It was actually fairly well done on both sides, Silent and Koikva, in that little exchange down there. Koikva actually really played well in just kiting him out and not allowing him to get the split off. Sing Sing's dead again. I mean, these heroes are dying so quickly that it's so hard to even get the camera there in time to see it. And again, they're just losing their cores way too much. I mean, Sing, again, he's tallied 4 kills, which is nice, but he's given up 3 deaths on his own. And then you take a look at the rest of the team. I mean, he and Koikva are a collective 5 and 6. You cannot have that out of those 2 heroes.
Did you see it from start to finish? Like, how did he die? I saw a lift was on cooldown, and the Ember Spirit gave up the Flame Guard to the Rubik, but I didn't see the initiation of it. Was it just the supports around? Because I didn't see Panda there.
No, Panda was there.
Oh, he was? Okay.
Yeah, he was there, and then the
he died
Ancient Apparitional was there, too.
Okay, okay.
But regardless, game continues to roll on, and there's a split on EGM in mid. So he's dead. 15-6, and Empire continuing to pile it on so long as they can keep their Thunder God connected to the game. Koikva is continuing to farm as best he can, but it is beginning to reach that point where it feels like, even if he gets his Orchid up now, it feels like it's going to be too little too late. And Empire, I think, again, you know, they can back off, wait 90 seconds, let Split come off cooldown, let Thunder God's Wrath come off cooldown, and then just go.
Yeah, it's kind of why I said, like, sometimes when you're just so far behind on Storm, it's almost better to get just the Bloodstone rushed instead of an Orchids, because if your team altogether as a whole is, like, very, very behind and very struggling, and disconnect coming out yet again from Resolution, as I suspect that this will probably get resumed quickly without him.
Yeah.
But when you're this far behind on a Storm, then usually it's best to just kind of farm up and not go for ganks, because even when you do get the Orchids, you probably can't get any kills because you're just that far behind and they're just too tanky on the side of Empire.
Yeah, we'll wait for G to drop the hammer one way or the other. Been a long 21 minutes. Probably we've probably been in this game for, yeah, I was gonna say 30 to 40. It has to be. And just 20 minutes in, it is largely Empire's game to win and to lose, as they're at 7,500 gold advantage. And yep, well, very quick reconnect that time. At least if we can keep the pauses short, maybe we'll get this game played for realsies. And one more time, just a reminder that everyone listening right now is going to have a chance to win 2 free chests, courtesy of Dota 2 Lounge. I'll be reading off 10 different codes, so get your pen and paper ready, and those can be redeemed. Make sure you're logged in at Dota 2 Lounge. And go to Dota2Lounge.com/giveaway. And I'll also be tweeting them, as will Trouth and as will the D2L Twitter. So make sure you follow all of those as well for as many chances to win as is possible. And yeah, it looks like Empire now taking away Team Tinker's jungle and just continuing to funnel Team Tinker fairly effectively.
It looks like actually Zeus might be going for a Bloodstone himself. I saw him just pick up a Soul Ring that he has, yeah, and the Bloodstone recipe. I am not a fan of this build. I honestly don't see the point of it, because it gives you 100 more mana than an Axe. You don't get any extra damage. I don't even think you really need the extra mana regeneration, because when you usually go for an Axe and all these kind of mana-intensive items, you have such a mana pool that you don't even need that much mana regen. But anyway, we'll hold that thought.
Bulba super dead. There's one down. Make it 2 as EGM's next on the list. Sing Sing just going to try to TP away, and we'll be able to make it away safely. Koikva coming into the back of this group of bogeys, as he's going to jump right on Always Want to Fly. Look to get a kill with his newly completed Orchid, and will do so. So getting at least something out of it. So they end up going 2 supports for 1, so not as bad as it could have been.
Yeah, and actually still, the net worth isn't that crazy for these heroes. Like, Ember Spirit and Ember Spirit and Storm Spirit are not that far behind. They're pretty much neck and neck with these top farmers of Team Empire. And while the Elder Titan is very, very far behind, his base defense is still there, and he does have a Yules. So.
Nope, Silent got way out front. And if he dies here, nope, good for staff. And he's going to go ahead and split. Try to turn this around and rise. Lifted and brought in, but looks like, yeah, no, he's actually going to be caught from behind. Now the duel on the EGM. Earth Splitter goes off, and it just doesn't matter. As now they finish up one more. They lose Aloha, but Koikva likely to come down into some trouble. Ancient Apparition ulti's on the way. He does manage to jump to the safety of his team. Doesn't matter. Silent and Yoki there to make it a 4-for-1. And are they going to get Sing Sing as well? Sing Sing came into the back of the fight. Don't think they really have a chance to pursue him out. But this is beginning to look very ugly for Team Tinker. And it looked like it was just way over aggressiveness out of Silent's Brewmaster there that started all of that. But then, you know, he got over aggressive, but then they over pursued him back towards their own tier 1. And from that point on, after the Brewmaster split, following a very nice 4-staff save from Resolution, this give up even more. And yeah, the gold graph, like you said, it's still, it's manageable, but it's about to hit that point of critical mass.
Well, yeah, that was before that fight.
Exactly.
I don't know if you saw that, but the Rubik actually stole the Earth Splitter from Elder Titan, and he got a double kill with it. Like, oh, that's got to be such a satisfying feeling if you're a Rubik player getting a big steal like that. It also makes such a nice sound. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh,
like,
I know.
Doom, like just a big sound. And,
so visceral.
Yeah, when you get that actual kill with it, it feels pretty damn good. BKB finished for the Panda, which is very, very good for him, because even if they initiate now with an Orchids, he can just nullify that. So now your Orchids feels very useless if you're Koikva, because you're like, oh, now I can Orchids maybe to support and kill them, but I don't even think you need Orchids to kill them if you're in the right position. So we'll have to wait and see. Ember Spirit does pick up his Battle Fury, which is not too bad. Not too bad timing, all things considered, but yeah, these fights are just easily going the way of Empire at this point. And with the Midas up on the Ancient Apparition level 11, he's going to have his axe pretty soon himself.
Team Tinker trying to push top. Very typical trade at this stage of the game. Team that's behind tries to push to tier 2, while team that's ahead takes it for your Roshan. They're going to be able to defend this easily, though. And yeah, Tinker even knows it. They rotated 4 up that way, but just realizing, nope, we're not pushing quickly enough. This is not a fight we can take. And Arise missed by the Ice Blast, but with that, Aegis. And it was picked up and put on to Yoki, as one would imagine. Again, they can farm with it if they want to, but I don't think they need to. I think they can just run down mid and potentially begin to think about high ground.
Yeah, and Yoki's very close to a BKB if that's what he wants to go for, too. I think that would be the most appropriate build, considering, too, that they're up against so much magic damage and the Orchids from Storm.
And like you said, that Orchid's really not feeling all that worth it at all now. I mean, the Brew is the primary target you would want to jump on. I mean, Brew or Zeus, I guess, but Zeus can just play so far back that, I mean, you'd have to jump through an entire team, and there's no way the rest of your team can follow through it, and you can do some damage, but chances are you're either going to get your teammates killed or get yourself killed, just trying to take out a Zeus who could then buy back an ult anyway.
Yeah.
There's a jump, and they actually do a do-si-do, as Silent being kited out and toyed with a little bit there by Koikva, but still no follow-up at all. But Yoki and Aloha now making their way towards mid, look to make something happen. Do have a 2-man smoke out of Sing and Bulba as they're going to head along the ridge line. Yoki went ahead and deployed his Blade Mail a little bit early, still trying to catch up with EGN. There's the lift, and Yoki there will get the duel off. 310 damage. He's up to plus 66 overall.
Oh, Resolution.
Yep. No, he actually manages to deny himself, and that's going to be some prizes for our viewers. Using that Bloodstone and seeing Bulba and Arise. Might get caught from behind here. Yoki has a blink in 5 seconds. Sing Sing has almost no mana, and they're going to have to figure out how they want to approach this. Blink back on cooldown. They're trying to just keep the blink on cooldown. And the Echo Stomp, not going to be enough. Arise dead again. And Yoki, another 10, 15 seconds or so would have had more damage, but I'm sure they'll be happy to take the kill.
I'm interested to see why he picked up a level 4 Stomp, too. He's 0, 7, and 0. Hasn't contributed into one fight with damage at all, or one kill with damage. That's how it ends up being. 8 charges on the urn here for the Rubik. He picked up the level 4 Echo Stomp, which is very interesting. I was going to mention one thing. Oh yeah, the reason why the Zeus died, he actually...
Up bottom. Got a split. And Sing Sing's there. This is way over aggressive from Silent. He does have help coming. It's going to be a Resolution. Will he use the ulti? Hung on to it. Actually, it's on cooldown. Thought it was going to be off cooldown by now. But at the very least, they are managing to keep them busy. And here comes the rest of Empire ready to collapse down here. And this is a fight that Team Tinker should have a chance to win if they do decide to force it. 90 seconds on the ulti, and they got nothing out of it. Aegis still has another 2 minutes on it, give or take. But yeah, Tinker, I think, is just going to abandon this. If they, with resolution in lane like this, they may suspect that the jungle's full of hostiles. And we'll see how Empire wants to play it.
Well, they have a lot of gold pooled up on the Legion Commander, that's for sure. Oh, wait, he just bought something. It's probably a BKB. Oh, it's an AC. He's going to go for an Assault Cuirass, which is totally fine, by the way, because he has an Aegis and he has the money for it this early on. So he's going to be hitting like a truck. But yeah, the reason why the Zeus died up there is actually he used the ultimate, but because the two heroes were smoked under him, he couldn't see them.
Yeah.
So if he didn't actually do some counting, like, wait, 1, 2, 3, I only see 3 heroes on the map. Oh, crap, it was smoked. But sometimes you just don't even look at that. You just say, oh, there's nobody under me, so I'm fine. But only reason why he died, but he did get the denial off, so it's not even that big of a deal.
And taking a look, yeah. Critical mass definitely has been hit. And glad to see it. That resolution seems to be having no problem staying connected to the game. Gonna add some more burst. And it makes the, this is, I love this kind of an approach to heroes like the Storm and the Ember. You go, well, we don't have a lot of ways to lock them down, so what ways we do have, we need to make sure we pour out the damage. So just build Dagon, like just play to your strengths. Don't try to get too cute by, rushing a Hex or something like that. To hell with it. You've got the damage. Just go ahead and get more damage.
Sure. I mean, I think Empire's obviously a fantastic position. Zeus can really build anything he wants. They can really, all of them, build anything they want at this point. They just have the potential and the means to kill off the Storm Spirit. I'm sure that's the big thing, is that when we looked at this draft, it's like if they don't have a fast blink on the Legion Commander or a very good start with this Rubik, they're just gonna have difficult ways of actually keeping the Storm Spirit and Ember Spirit locked down. Well, that hasn't been the case, and that's the key to shutting down this lineup here from Team Tinker.
Aegis reclaimed, 4.5 minutes, give or take, until Roshan is back up. And take a look at the item progression of Team Tinker. I think the notable thing is there's been very little of it. Bulba sitting on basically the same items he's had all game. Arise finally picks himself up a Midas. It will be a catch-up Midas. Hard to catch up whenever you're caught out. As Bulba ends up biffing it. Arise and Sing Sing might be able to make it away here. Yeah, as Silent did not deploy his ulti. Could have, but instead wanting to save it for high ground, and I think that's going to be the order of the day. Resolution out in the other lane right now. Might get jumped by Koikva, though. And, yep, Koikva suspecting. Yep, there it is. Knows where he is, and now he's going to spot it. Pinged out, and yeah, Resolution immediately seeing it. Decides to go ahead and turn tail, but now Koikva continuing to hang, has a TP. There is a rotation coming from Yoki. And Resolution going to run right into him. And, yep, now he's just going to jump as far as he can and TP away, which is the right call to make. And Resolution may be tipping their plan a little bit too quickly there. In the meantime, at top, Silent and Aloha were trying to rotate up to catch one, but unable to do so before he TP'd out. So, at the very least, Tinker is dodging these kills now.
Yeah, we'll have to see if they can make it to high ground defense with all 5 heroes. I fear that they're not even going to have all 5 heroes when they do this, because of the pick-off potential of Empire is just so large with the Zeus ult up and just, Yoki's extra damage with the Assault Cuirass this early on. It's crazy to see. And then the Panda being 8, 0, and 7. Who's working towards what looks to be, what is it, so Shiva's, probably? With the go with Vladimir's offering?
Yeah, I think so. Make the most sense anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess he could go Hex if he really wanted to, and just have one more way to lock them down. But like you said, like we literally just said, I don't think that's necessary. I think you've got enough burst and enough survivability that you can just rely on damage to be your lockdown for the most part. And even Always Want to Fly is now getting very close to his scepter. About 1,500 gold and he'll have it.
Well, the Storm Spirit was evading for about a minute bottom from the Zeus. Now went top and just bursted through all of his mana and then TP'd away, so he hasn't farmed anything for the last 2.5 minutes, which is unfortunate. But Ember Spirit, what's he got? Battle Fury Crystallis, and Bulba dies again. I missed that one, but that's just Zeus being Zeus with his Dagon 2 now.
Yep. Just ran upon him and made him pay. And Silent is base tanking the tower because he can. This will be the last outer tier tower remaining for Team Tinker. Down it goes. And now high ground. And well, with 90 seconds until Roshan responds, they may decide to wait a bit and just take a Roshan before going. No, they're gonna go, man. They are ready to rock. Team Tinker now under siege. This is our first game of this series. Koikva tried to jump on the Brewmaster. There's a nice two-man series change that does a fair amount of damage, but earn charges still left over. Uses one on himself and has another to heal a teammate. And yeah, they're going to TP. I think this is the right call. Just wait out a Roshan.
I think that was like a good opening for Team Tinker. That was a double chains on 2 heroes with a spirit on them, but Arise chose not to use the stomp onto him. I think he could have stomped and made an Earth Splitter and maybe got something out of that. I think that was a very good opening. Unfortunately, they didn't bite, or Arise didn't bite, and he went for a Midas, by the way. I don't know if you noticed that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Midas here for the Elder Titan. Very interesting. But has maybe decided that if they do win this, it's going to go late. This is the only opening. I'm not quite sure, but yeah, Midas here for him. Koikva, he's going towards what looks to be a sheep stick. And it is going to be a sheep stick, actually, for the Panda. I thought it was for sure going to be a Shiva's.
Yeah, and I mean, it certainly makes sense. I mean, when you're dealing with 2 heroes that are notoriously hard to keep locked down in the 2 spirits, the Ember and the Storm, that's fine. I don't think he necessarily had to do this, but you know, Shiva. I mean, it's like we talked about though. Like if there was any right clicker, like if you had a Storm and Ember and then any right clicker at all, I think Shiva's makes more sense. It gives you more damage, and, you know, the slow and whatever. But like we talked about, the Ember's not really a traditional right clicker, and Koikva has his Lincolns popped, and yeah, now he's going to be followed up. The A ulti will miss him, and he's about half mana. He's going to get critted. Now he's going to turn it around as he's got help. EGM looking to come that way. BKB deployed, and he's out of mana, and he's going to be blinked on, and he's going to die. He could have easily run away and decided to turn and try to get cute. Don't know if it was a miscommunication. EGM was waiting behind him, but yeah, things did not go well. And now he's down for 60 seconds. Down at bottom, looks like they were trying to pursue somebody out, but believe this one is reaching its final moments. Nearly 20k gold lead for Empire right now, and just about that in experience as well. Now we're going to have Aloha once again caught out by himself, and he will die solo.
Will make a fine powder.
Yep, couldn't get the kill on the Sing Sing either, but you cannot kill this Panda. I don't know there are ways to actually get the Panda kill unless he's very, very cocky, and it's right after he comes out of a split, because you're not killing him through a split. He has BKB, so he will always get that off. He's very, very tanky, now has a sheep stick on top of that. And one thing to think about too is, I was talking to someone about this, that Storm Spirit against heroes that have lots of evasion, heroes like PA, uh-oh, he disconnects again. Heroes like PA, or in this case, the Panda, who can throw the Drunken Haze onto you on top of the Drunken Brawler. Most of Storm Spirit's damage is not the Remnant itself. It's actually auto attack damage with the Overload. And getting the Overload procs with your auto attacks. That's where the majority of your damage is coming out from. But if you're missing those attacks, you don't have damage. Well, that would be. And we actually do have a pause here coming out. It's going to be 4v5. Something tells me it doesn't really matter that much, but it's still annoying.
Yep, Empire going to go right on into the Roche pit. And like you said, they should feel fairly confident that they've built enough of a lead that this is not going to be the end of the world. However, items are beginning to make appearances now for Tinker, as the Daedalus has been finished by Sing Sing, so his damage output is considerable. And there's a Scepter up on EGM as well. But there's also an Aegis now in the hands of Yoki. And Yoki has stolen 66 damage, is hitting for 250, and is quite beastly, to put him mildly, with that Assault Curie. So with a little bit of micro, they should be able to use resolution pretty well. And looks like it's I think it's always one to fly that's actually controlling him right now. Him or Aloha, obviously.
Yeah, honestly. Oh, actually, it looks like a possible courier snipe here from Koikva. Nope, they're not going to get it. But this is actually great, because usually AA wants to be away from the fights anyway, so you can get a larger radius of your ultimate.
Mm-hmm.
And he keeps reconnecting anyway, so it might not matter. But if they were using him and micring him, it's actually a perfect combination of Zeus and the Ancient Apparition, honestly.
Silent almost got into Hex range there, but Koikva a little too quick on the trigger. Up at top, Sing Sing, not so fortunate. The follow-up's not there, though. Brew does get the deny on the tower, even though Sing Sing is able to remnant back to safety. He did manage to get hit by the AA ulti, and that is a sceptered AA ulti, but don't think it's going to matter. He's got plenty of health, and the Flame Guard, of course.
If they had the Legion Commander in range, they definitely would have killed him, though. But, yep. Ancient Apparition closing in on his level 16. That's going to be fantastic. But, of course, the Axe is there, so it's going to be a 17-second duration of the Frostbitten, which is amazing. It's the whole reason why you get it. It's pretty much just for the the duration, not so much the damage or anything like that. But, I will say Ember Spirit does have some decent farm. Like, he's got a Daedalus. They haven't broken high ground yet, necessarily. They've put a little bit of damage under the tier 3 up top. But that's about it, so... They still have that fantastic base defense. I'm telling you, man. Elder Titan, Astral with the Aura, and this Ember Spirit is quite strong.
Arise barely able to make it away, but does nonetheless make it away. Bruce going to bots in, and now Yoki going to work on the tier 3. The Ember trying to do what he can, but this is probably make or break for them now. Like you said, their item development, their overall net worth is not horrendously far behind for the most part. Really, a lot of that gap is, it's a big gap. A lot of it's Bulba, but a lot of it's others as well. But right now they're giving up racks for free, and Yoki happy to just be the one who sits out front. And here comes Sing Sing trying to do what he can. Echo Stomp caught silent. And they're just going to go ahead and sacrifice the Aegis on Yoki. Wait for him to come back up and look to make something happen off of that. And Searing Chain's caught nothing but creeps. And Empire moving right back in. EGM got Hex. They're going to blink on top of it. He's got his ulti if he wants it. Doesn't look like they need it, and they don't. As behind that, Quickfoot tried to engage on Always Wanna Fly. He's now out of mana. Lincoln's is popped. Aloha. And Yoki combining to bring him down. And Silent does get caught by another Echo Stomp. They may be able to get a return kill here. Nope. They're going to split it. Arise. And Sing Sing in trouble. Sing's going to end up dropping. Arise has to make a run for the fountain. That's going to be a 3-for-1 all told. And very likely a GG on the way.
Yeah, and I haven't really seen... Oh, here comes Ember Spirit back again with the buyback. I haven't been able to see them use this Elder Titan and Astral Spirit with the... Like, he keeps using the Searing Chains and the Sleight of Fist without the Ember Spirit aura there. Or the Earth Spirit... Oh, God, I cannot say his name. Elder Titan there. Sing Sing taking a lot of damage. This will be a dieback. Probably the game if he dies. He does get the Remnant back. Fortunately for him,
that
very,
Echo
very
Stomp,
close.
so clutch. The Echo Stomp's what saved him. Yep, there's a nice ulti out of EGM. Nice play from him. And Empire overstaying their welcome a smidge. Ends up feeding a few back. So Tinker loses racks, loses another tier 3 in mid, but they're going to go down swinging at the very least. And the Zeus picks up his level 5 Dagon. So Resolution is locked and loaded, to say it mildly. But, you know, as nice as it is to get a couple of kills on the way out the door, don't know that they're going to be able to have anywhere near the firepower they need to slow Empire down now.
I don't think I saw one Sleight of Fist happen with the Astral Spirit, though. And that's the whole combo, is getting the natural order onto them. And I kept seeing it come afterwards or beforehand. And the damage output was still not too bad from Ember Spirit, but imagine it would be so much better if they just had the natural order debuff onto them. Because while they do have the Assault Cuirass, which is great, they don't have, like... They don't have a Vlad. Oh, no, they do have a Vlad's. Never mind. Oh, I heard a BKB somewhere. And then I actually disconnect, which is an auto pause. It's not like they're pausing actively for him. There is an auto pause function here now with heroes disconnecting from games like this.
Well, hopefully this will be short. And G says unpause.
I heard a BKB, I swear. Clicking around. Oh, it was the Legion Commander.
Fat Finger? Must have been.
Probably, yeah.
Quickfoot gonna jump right on top of him. And there's the Lincoln's pop. And Yoki, tried to get on top of him. Could not get the duel off in time. Had help from Aloha as well. That might have been a kill. And Resolution's shambling husk of a hero is down at bottom. They're gonna rotate one down. This could be a kill onto Sing Sing if the initiation is proper out of silent. And they move in, but nope. Sing is pretty fast-fingered and immediately remnants.
And here comes maybe a push bottom, although Roshan won't be up for quite some time. Tons of gold here pulled up on Legion Commander. Despite him not having the highest amount of duel damage I've seen in a 43-minute game, I don't think it matters. At 4, 0, and 8 for him, he is doing fantastically.
Update you. 84 damage gained overall, which means he's hitting hard, and he hasn't had to build a single purely damage-based item. He's largely built hybrid defensive items so far, except for the BKB. But yeah, I think they're just going to run down mid with everything off cooldown now, and Tinker maybe has one more fight left in him. We'll see if maybe they can get a good initiate and buy time, but barring that, pretty sure this one's over. Behind that, we can actually see Always Want to Fly was jumped on by Koikva coming out of the woods, and he's just going to TP away, and that's fine for him. He'll sit back, regen, and throw his ulti whenever necessary. And BKB from Yoki as he continues to chop down the mid set of racks, and down it goes.
He is all business today.
And there's the ulti EGM caught by Silent. There's a Dagon on the Bulba who does manage to survive, but only just barely. And he is being pursued out. Behind that, Koikva did reinitiate on a resolution. That plus an Earth Splitter gets a kill. So it ends up being a 1-for-1, and we can see resolution was disconnected there, so easy to see why that took place. They may be able to... let's see, the Brew's going to reassemble. How much damage does he have? Aloha's there to try to help him. Vortex bought some time. And Koikva trying to kite this out. Silence very low. Aloha and Yoki coming back in, though. And Aloha will end up dead as he made it down to the low ground. And now Yoki being pursued out. And he's just going to turn and duel, and yep, gets the kill on Yoki. So, 17-31, and once again, Empire getting the work done on the buildings, but giving up quite a bit on the way out the door.
Oh, it could be. Bulba almost walked. Oh, he actually got hit by the debuff. But if he got hit by the actual ultimate from AA, I'm pretty sure he dies there. Very, very close. He force-staffed himself into that. But yeah, Resolution did die. Of course, he is being microed right now. Probably had something to do with it, but they did get what they came for, which was the racks in mid. And I don't think that Empire are too displeased about that. I think they're just fine.
Roshan will be respawning in just a few seconds. So they'll be able to take another Aegis if they want, but I mean, taking a look at Sing Sing, does he have another item on the way to him? No. There's a Hex done on Arise, and really would have expected Sing Sing to have a little bit more loose change on him right now. But Battle Fury BKB, Daedalus, and 1200 is certainly nothing to shake a stick at. But I don't know. I mean, Tinker, even though they've lost their racks, they are beginning to make a little bit of a dent into the golden experience. I can't imagine them, no matter what they do, I don't think they're ever going to be able to survive an overall push from Empire. Even with Resolution out, I don't think it's going to matter.
Yep, TP coming out from... Oh, Sing Sing actually... Oh no, that was Brown's TP, never mind. Sometimes brown and orange look so much alike to me on the minimap. It's hard for me to distinguish.
Right.
But, yeah. Sing Sing, what does he got for... He's actually got a BKB now, which is going to help him get away from the stuns and whatnot, but the duel is still there and very effective. Mjolnir coming out for Legion Commander, which is fantastic. Roshan coming up, and a DD was actually replaced here by a Bounty Rune, unfortunately, but I don't think it matters too much.
They'll take this uncontested, I do believe. And now with Empire moving in, or Silent, excuse me, moving in much quicker. And another Aegis plus cheese. This time the cheese goes to Silent. And yeah, they're just going to, I mean, why wouldn't you? Just go straight to bottom lane and try to make something happen. Koikva was hiding out, but TP'd back. And they're just going to need a miracle. They need a miracle initiation. They need, like you said before, another nice two-man Searing Chains with a Echo Stomp to follow. Potential for that was there when they were defending top, but they didn't follow through. And if they want to have any chance at all, they're going to have to do something along those lines this time.
Well, they got to stomp off on the one, but it's just not enough. They really need that spirit there when he's using the Sleight of Fist. They need to push these lanes out. If Empire really want to take this slowly, they'll just wait for the lanes to be pushed out in mid, both top. But they haven't really done that themselves yet, so they have to just wait naturally. which would take some time, but yeah, I think that they're still just in a fantastic position. We'll have to wait and see how much damage Sing Sing can actually do with this Astral Spirit Natural Order onto them. And they were smoked up, actually. Silent broke his smoke, and they know that he's available and right there. And Koifa will zip out, actually.
Loha will find him. Was in the process of lifting, but Koifa a little too fast. And for the most part, Tinker is kiting this out well. I mean, there's no denying it. But hard to tell how much is simply delaying the inevitable as opposed to actually extending the game in a meaningful way. But at least for now, Empire's not throning them.
Yeah, but if they do want to initiate onto him, they have to hit Spell Steal and then cast the lift right afterwards. Or use the Fade Bolt first, just to proc the Lincolns. But Empire taking it slow and meticulous. But I do think that this is going to be inevitable here for Team Tinker, as they're just way too far behind. Storm Spirit, as I mentioned, we saw last time before they pushed the mid-racks, he actually tried to come in from the backside to get a kill onto one of the support solo. This is what I talked about. He's just not a very good base defender. He has to try to get pickoffs from the backside, but he just couldn't even do that.
Here we go. Could be the last fight of the game. As Tinker down to their last racks. There's a Searing Chains on the Silent. Has his BKB ready. Echo Stomps there. They're doing as much damage as they can. And he's still holding on to that BKB. They will deploy the Glyph finally. And Yoki goes right back in. Tier 3's down. And here comes Koifa trying to make something happen. Jumps on the Resolution, but will be lifted. Then Hex. Little overlap there. Not going to matter. The burst damage too high. Yoki gets a kill of his own. Adds to his damage total. Those two heroes down. Let's take a look at the buyback status. None for Koifa, and that's going to be that. As Megas will be out now. Silent going to chase him all the way back to the fountain. And the Super Mega Creeps are out, and there's going to be the GG. So, Team Tinker, who snuck into the playoffs, came down really to their last couple of matches. And even having a little bit of an advantage in terms of resolution, not being all that consistent, even staying connected to the game, finds themselves now one loss away from elimination here in the Western playoffs of D2L Season 5. Empire, obviously the corollary, one win away from moving one step closer to joining us for our grand finals in Caesar's Palace.
Yeah, and I wouldn't feel like too terrible about quote-unquote playing 4v5 for Team Tinker, just because, one, he already had a fantastic start when he was connected. Two, even if he did DC at that point, he had such a lead on himself that it didn't even matter, and it's one of the easiest heroes to micro in the game. So I wouldn't feel too bad in that regard. But what I would feel bad about is going through a long and grueling game one where they just pretty much knew they were going to lose, honestly, and just being able to recuperate mentally for game two. And I think the biggest thing this game was the laning phase, which just went so poorly for them. They could. The laning phase shouldn't have even been that bad for them, honestly. They have Skywrath and Witch Doctor. These are fantastic supports in the laning phase. Some of the best in being able to fight something head on. And it makes you almost even wonder if they're thinking, oh, they are going to go aggressive, let's dodge it. Because why would they go top if they wanted to do that? Maybe they were thinking Panda would farm top and they wanted to stop his farm and stop his early Blink Dagger, because they were thinking perhaps Team Empire has a lineup of timings and we need to stop those timings. So let's stop the Brewmaster's farm. So maybe it was just a better heads-up decision from Yoki and the rest of Empire to say, hey, no, we're going to dodge it because we want to make sure Brew gets that farm. But if that was the case, I think Bulba should have reacted accordingly, and he should have just said, okay, you know what, Storm Spirit, you're going to be off lane solo, which is fine against a Leech Commander, honestly, and we're going to fight this tri-lane head on. And they didn't rotate fast enough, and as a result, they just trampled Team Tinker in the laning phase.
Well, game two ahead of us now, but before that, again, we got a lot of codes to give away. Make sure you follow D2L, Trout, and myself on Twitter. It's at D2LGG is one of them. At Troutdota, TRALFDOTA will be the second one, and I'm at AC, at AYESEE. We'll be tweeting out 10 codes to you, and the first 10 to redeem them on Dota 2 Lounge will receive 2 free chests courtesy of D2L, and of course courtesy of Dota 2 Lounge itself. Also, those watching on stream, hope you have pen and paper ready, because I'm going to read these one time and one time each only, so we can get going ahead to game number 2. Here are 10. Be the first to redeem them. You need to be logged in to Dota 2 Lounge before you go there. And what you need to do is go to Dota 2 Lounge, log in, then open Dota2Lounge.com/giveaway. And then Enter these codes. Here we go. 00356BDF. That's 1. 0084AFF9. That's 2. 01FC526C. That's 3. 024BB661. And that's another one. 02C0B9A9. That's another one. 0489DF03. starting over. 048E235F. 06EDDA14. 09576600. And the last one, 097881166. Best of luck to you guys, and hopefully everyone ends up with some cool chests. And again, keep up with Trouf, myself, and D2L, as we'll be tweeting 10 more each to you coming up, and we'll be doing that again at after the last game of this series, as well as after the first and last game of our next series as well. I am EC, and that's Trouf. Game 2 of Team Tinker and Team Empire coming up next. Stick with us.